Someone carries a desire for you as intense as it is impossible. They see you as everything they've always sought, but could never reach. Are you prepared to discover what this person feels and what can happen from now on? This will move you in ways you can't even imagine. Read until the end and find out. Do you know the impact you have on this person's life? Every time your name is mentioned, it's as if everything stops. It's not just a fleeting admiration, it is a visceral desire, almost impossible to control, that consumes her thoughts and dreams. She watches you from a distance, in silence, while every gesture of yours hits her like a wave, leaving her breathless. Every one of your smiles is a moment of light in her day, but also a painful reminder of something she believes is out of reach. This feeling has grown, taken shape, and now it is on the verge of becoming something impossible to hide. Do you feel this? The energy that surrounds everything involving you two? Because even without words, she believes that you know that somehow you feel this invisible bond. Doubt and fear prevent her from taking a step forward, but the desire for you is stronger than any barrier. This person has been fighting against her own heart. She constantly wonders, what if I tell? What if she knows and steps away? What if everything changes? This internal battle is suffocating, but what comes next is beyond her control. The intensity of this feeling is about to overflow. Perhaps you have already noticed signs, glances that last a little longer than they should, small gestures that seem casual but are loaded with meaning. Perhaps you have felt a tightness in your chest when you're in the same environment, as if something bigger is about to happen. If you are reading this now, understand, it is a call, a sign that something is about to happen. You are the reason for sleepless nights, for thoughts that don't cease, for a heart that beats faster than it should. And now, this person is facing an inevitable choice. Continue hiding what they feel or finally open up, even if it means risking everything. Destiny has its ways of acting, and maybe you are here reading this for a reason. It might be that this revelation is the necessary push for things to finally take the direction they need to take. Are you prepared for this? Are you willing to face what is to come? Because once this comes to light, there will be no turning back. Time does not wait, and this person knows it. Each passing day, the feeling grows, strengthens, and demands more courage to be revealed. And you, are you ready to listen? To accept that you are someone's impossible love, but maybe, just maybe, this could be more possible than it seems. You might not have noticed, but every interaction, every exchange of words, every moment shared, is stored like a treasure by this person. Even the simplest details, like the tone of your voice or the way you arrange your hair, have become small chapters of a story she could never write directly to you. She is afraid that you don't feel the same, afraid that your reaction will destroy any chance, however small, of keeping you close. This love, which she considers impossible, is also the most beautiful and painful thing she has ever felt. Each passing day, she wonders if she is prepared to face what will come by exposing this, but the silence is a weight that is becoming unbearable. How much longer can someone live suffocated by an unspoken love? How much longer can she smile by your side while her heart screams for attention? There is a force within her that is growing, and you are the center of it all. What you don't know is how much she has already imagined this moment. She has rehearsed the words, created scenarios in her mind, and prepared herself for all possible responses, from your welcoming smile to the rejection she fears the most. Each possibility runs through her mind like a movie she can't stop watching. And you? Are you willing to listen? To make space for this person to pour out everything they've been holding in? Because the moment is inevitably approaching. The silence is about to be broken, and when that happens, it will be like a dam bursting. There will be no control, no turning back. It will be intense, raw, and absolutely real. Maybe you're thinking, but who is this person? How did I never notice? Or maybe deep down you already know, because feelings like these rarely remain completely hidden. They find ways to reveal themselves, even in the subtext, in the details that we don't always admit to ourselves. This person watches your every step, not in an invasive way, but with an attention only someone who loves can have. She sees you in layers that perhaps no one else sees. It's not just the exterior, not just what you show to the world. She sees your insecurities, your struggles, and because of that, or perhaps because of it, the feeling grows even more. She has already tried to forget you. More times than she would like to admit, she tried to convince herself that it was just a phase, a fantasy, something that time would take away. But time only strengthened what she feels. And now, she stands before a point of no return. What happens next depends on you. It depends on how you will receive this truth when it finally steps out of the shadows. Are you prepared for this? Because one thing is for certain. When she decides to open her heart, it will be something so profound that it may change the way you see everything around you. You are more important to this person than you can imagine. And what they feel for you isn't something common. It's not something fleeting. It's a love that defies the rules, that surpasses limits, that survives even when it seems impossible. And now, the question they are struggling to answer is, do you deserve to know this? Are you ready to deal with what this feeling represents? Because the next step is getting closer and closer, and they are about to cross the line between silence and truth. If you are reading this now, don't ignore what you feel. Don't ignore the signs. Don't ignore the possibilities, because some stories, even the most improbable ones, have the power to change everything. And maybe, just maybe, this is your story. She is on the brink of a decision that could change everything. The weight of keeping this feeling in silence is becoming unbearable. It's not a matter of wanting or not wanting to tell you, it's a need, an urgency. She needs you to know, even if that means exposing herself completely, even if it might hurt her. For so long, she has hidden this love, kept every detail, every sensation like a precious secret. And yet all these emotions have only grown stronger. It's not something she chose to feel. It's something that happened, uncontrollable, inevitable, and now impossible to ignore. You mean much more to this person than just a desire or a fleeting passion. You are the embodiment of all that she believes to be rare, a combination of strength and vulnerability, of light and shadow. It's as if you were a work of art that she can't stop admiring, even knowing she can never touch it. The truth is, she doesn't expect perfection. She knows you are human with flaws and contradictions, but to her, even your flaws are charming. This is exactly what makes this feeling so profound and real. It's not about idealizing who you are, but about accepting and loving you in all your complexity. What you need to understand is that she has already chosen you, even without knowing if she would be reciprocated, even without guarantees. Each day that passed, each moment she saw you and repressed the desire to say everything, was a choice. The choice to preserve what you have now, even if it meant sacrificing what she wants most. But now, fear and courage are dueling within her. There is a part that says to remain silent, to avoid the risk of losing you for good. But there is another part, much stronger, that is screaming to be heard, to finally give voice to what is in her heart. And that part is winning. What would you do if she simply appeared in front of you and said everything? If she confessed without preamble that she can no longer hide what she feels? Would you be ready to listen, to understand, to accept? Or would it be something that changes everything forever, in a way she cannot predict? The truth is, she has already imagined all the possible scenarios. She has already thought about what she would do if you said you feel the same way. She has allowed herself to dream, even knowing it might not be real. But she is also prepared for the worst. Because deep down she knows that loving someone like you is a risk, and she is willing to take that risk. You might be thinking, why didn't she tell me before? Why hide something so important? The answer is simple and at the same time incredibly complex. It's because she is afraid of losing you, afraid that by revealing what she feels, everything will change in a way she cannot control. It is easier to live with the weight of silence than with the possibility of losing you. But now the silence is no longer enough. The feeling has grown so much that it has overflowed, and even if she tries to hold it, hide it, disguise it, it is impossible. The time has come where she needs to decide. Continue living in the shadows or risk everything to tell you. Do you realize what is about to happen? This person is preparing to open their heart in a way that requires immense courage. They are going to expose their deepest emotions, show vulnerability like never before. And when that happens, the decision will be in your hands. Will you be able to look into their eyes and understand what they feel? Will you be able to embrace this love even if you don't know exactly what to do with it? Or will it scare you, push you away, make you rethink everything you have now? What comes next depends on you as much as it does on them. Because once these words are said, there will be no turning back. They will change everything. And deep down, maybe you already know that. Maybe you are feeling somehow that something is about to happen. This message is not just a warning. It's an opportunity. A moment for you to reflect, to open yourself up to the possibility that someone loves you in such a pure and intense way that they are willing to face their own fears to tell you the truth. And now the final question. What will you do when it happens? How will you react when this person stands before you, vulnerable and full of love, waiting only for a response? Time is running out, the moment is approaching, and when it arrives, it will be impossible to ignore. Prepare yourself, because soon everything that has been hidden will finally come to light. You might be trying to process all this right now. Maybe you're feeling a mix of surprise, curiosity, and perhaps even a slight unease. It's natural. Receiving the news that someone sees you as the center of their universe, as the impossible love that fills all their thoughts, is not something easy to digest. But believe me, every word that is about to be said will come with such overwhelming sincerity that there will be no room for doubts. This person is mentally rehearsing, over and over, how it will be when everything is revealed. She imagines what it will be like to look into your eyes and finally let everything escape. It's a type of vulnerability that she has never experienced before, and she knows that once she crosses this threshold, there will be no turning back. Can you imagine what it's like to carry something so intense for so long? Every conversation, every meeting, every exchange of glances has been imbued with this feeling that she could never fully express. For her, it's as if every word of yours is a melody, every gesture a work of art. You have become the epicenter of her universe without even trying. And yet she knows there is a possibility that you might not feel the same way. She isn't naive. She understands that loving someone so deeply does not guarantee reciprocity. But still, she is willing to take the risk. Not because she expects something in return, but simply because she can no longer bear to keep this inside herself. Have you ever stopped to think about the impact you have on the lives of those around you? About how your small gestures can transform someone's day? Maybe you haven't noticed, but the way you talk, the way you smile, the way you live, is something that inspires, that attracts, that makes people want to be near you. For her, you are much more than just a presence. You are the difference. And that's exactly what makes this revelation so difficult for her. Because deep down, she is afraid that what she feels might be a burden for you. She fears that by telling you, by exposing her soul, it might create a distance, a barrier that didn't exist before. But at the same time, she knows that continuing in silence is a path she can no longer follow. What you need to understand is that this love is not a choice for her. It is not something she decided to feel. It simply happened. It grew, it strengthened, and now it is as much a part of her as breathing. It is something she can no longer ignore, something that needs to be said even if it means putting everything you have at stake. And now you are faced with a choice, even if you haven't realized it yet. When that moment comes, when she finally tells you everything, how will you react? Will you welcome this feeling with the care it deserves, or will you turn your back, pretending that none of this was said? Either way, one thing is certain, that moment will be a turning point. For her, for you, for everything that exists between you. Because when such powerful words are spoken, they change the course of everything around them. This person is approaching that breaking point. Each day that passes, she feels she is closer to crossing that line, to letting everything be heard. And when that happens, it will be as if the world stops, as if time slows down just for that instant. Are you prepared for this? Are you ready to deal with the kind of feeling that can't be measured, that can't be explained, that simply exists? Because like it or not, what she feels is something that has already started to shape the space between you. And here is the truth. She doesn't expect you to have all the answers. She doesn't expect you to know exactly what to do or what to say. For what she wants above all is to be heard, to be seen, to be understood. She wants to know that even if you don't feel the same, you understand the depth of what is being shared. But what about you? Are you ready to make room for this possibility? Because if you feel the same, if somehow this impossible love is not so impossible after all, then what comes next could be something extraordinary. Something that neither of you ever imagined, but that has always been there, waiting to happen. If you are reading this now, it is because the universe, fate, or maybe just chance, decided that you needed to know, that this message should reach you at this moment, because something big is about to happen. And when that moment finally arrives, when it is before you, vulnerable, courageous, ready to say everything, remember this. What you do from then on will have the power to transform everything. Absolutely everything. Now it's up to you. Are you ready to receive this love? Comment your opinion, leave your like, and subscribe for more impactful stories like this. Your reaction can change everything.